What's going on? You see where we're at. We're back at my favorite place, Rosemead Skate Park. I was back home for a bit, and a lot of you guys might know, some of you might not, but I went back for Jackalope, had a lot of family stuff happen, found out my dad needed surgery, so I figured it'd be best if I stayed back there, kicked it with him, made sure he was all right. And for everyone who said something on Instagram, he's chilling now, he's good, he handled it, and I'm stoked that everything worked out. But today, I'm back. It's my favorite ledge, and I got another trick. I was thinking while I was back home, you know, I'm doing a lot of tricks that are very technical, or they're at least getting a little technical, and I'm skipping over some that I really need to learn. I always struggled with nollie back 180s and switch front 180s. I can do them, but I just can't do them in a way that is quick enough to get into tricks. Today, I'm gonna try to handle switch frontside tail slide. Seems like a very simple trick, probably something I probably should already have, but in my mind, if I learn this one and I really figure it out, I think it's gonna unlock a whole lot of other switch skating and maybe even switch flip variations that I need to learn in the future. You know the deal. I'm gonna throw my socks and shoes on, give you my hypothesis, and then eventually get to the ledge, try to figure out switch frontside tail slides. This morning has been starting off great. On the way here, went to get a matcha. So bad, didn't even make it into the park, threw it out. So that's strike one. Strike two, I got into a fight with a beetle. There's beetles everywhere here. I swung at one, not realizing that the edge of the quarter pipe was right there. And I just pretty much died before I even got ready to skate. So that's strike two. You rolling? Good to see you, brother. Take care. Yeah, man. So we're really 0 for 2 today. In the words of my pops, you'll be all right. So switch frontside tail slide. I've tried this one in the past, and I really never could just figure out the ollie into it. It seems simpler than it is, and maybe it is simple, but to me, I tend to complicate so much stuff in my head. And I think this one is one that I've found many ways to just make way harder than it really is. My biggest problem is I don't know the amount of distance I need between myself and the ledge when I'm ollieing into it. I think once I figure out how far I need to be, that's really gonna help me establish the type of ollie I need to do. Secondly, I feel like I'm gonna need to understand how to do a little bit of a shifty and more of like a switch shifty ollie that's very flat. I tend to kind of like scoop and go real rocket and then kind of bone my nose down when I do switch front 180s, and that might be good for some stuff, but for this trick in particular, I feel like I need to like flatten my board out. So that's something I'm gonna try to figure out while I do this. Today is definitely gonna be a battle of my shoulders and my head. I'm gonna have to figure out how to control my body skating switch 1000%. That is gonna be the hardest part of this. I don't think the tail slide is really gonna be that big of a deal, because if you really think about it, and I like to do this with a lot of other tricks that I might get in my head about sometimes, it's just a nose slide. You get into it differently, but if you really think about it, it's just a backside nose slide. And I don't think backside nose slides are really scary to anyone. So if you can take a trick like that and just say, well, all right, it's a different trick. It's a less scary trick. I'm just getting into it a little different, but once I'm in it, it's pretty much the simplest trick I could do. I think that takes a lot of like the fear out of doing some sort of tricks. I like to tell people when they're learning how to frontside nose blunt, you get into it a little different, but once you're in it, it's pretty much just a backside nose slide. So if you can just convince yourself in your head the trick is a lot simpler and basic than it really is, I think that gives you a lot more confidence straight out the gate. All right, so I've got my socks and my shoes on. It's time to go to the ledge, figure out switch frontside tail slides. But first, of course, warm-up tricks, gotta do those, and then we will get over to the switch frontside tail slide. All right, so I'm not gonna lie to you, everything was very chill except for nollie heel crook. It just took me about an hour to get it on camera because my phone kept overheating. So I did 4 of them and a bunch of nollie heel nose slides. So I'm a little frustrated, but we're not gonna make that strike 3 of 3 just yet. We're gonna keep it cool and get to what we're here for. Now I'm gonna move back to this ledge, the little taller one, and I think I'm gonna start with some switch front 50s. Feel like get a nice kind of like starting place, get comfortable ollieing into the ledge, switch front side, and then go from there. I got you guys over there in the shade because there's literally nowhere else that I can put my phone in this frying pan of a skate park right now without it overheating. All right, switch front 50. Really got to figure out how to keep my shoulders flat when I skate switch. I've got to figure out how I need to swoop into this thing. Maybe it's like, I don't know. I felt all right, but like once I try it, it could be a different story. I'm not gonna lie, that was actually a pretty good attempt. I'm surprised I got that far. I think that's what I need to practice. I need to do a little switch ollie, not worry about the board, and press my left foot onto the ledge, just so that even if the board isn't there, I'll always go back to the same spot with my body. I think what I'm gonna do is stick with an approach that's like not quite parallel, but maybe right about there. Try to just get into it and treat it like a no slide. I like that foot placement. I moved my front foot in instead of doing like a switch heel, kind of more like I would do a regular frontside tail slide. I'd have my feet set up just like an ollie. I felt nice. I think I like that foot placement. I'm gonna keep doing that. I think one problem I have with this is I focus so much on pressing into a tail slide that I don't think about sliding my foot up to actually do a switch ollie. I think that's why sometimes it's just a really rocket and bad switch ollie and I just don't get into the tail slide. Once I fix my shoulders, I think I'll solve a lot of my problems. All right, I think I need to go here, go backwards a little bit, try to figure out body positioning over the ledge before I get into this one, because I'm doing them, but I'm not happy with how I'm doing them. They're not very consistent. If I really want to figure this out, I got to start from the ground floor. My biggest hang up right now with this trick is this left leg is not coming with me when I'm turning. It's like my board and my leg, it's all disconnected. I'm not really getting there. My foot might get onto the ledge, but my board is not. So I've got to figure out how to do a better switch front 180, and I have a feeling that's something to do with what I'm doing up front. Maybe I got to switch that. I just tried something that I think might work a little better. I was setting up a little too wide. I had my feet set up like this, just set up a little closer. I feel like that might be the trick. That might be the missing piece. I like the way that ollie feels, but now I've got to figure out how to get my body positioned directly over the ledge instead of being forward or backward. I think I'm just gonna trial and error this one. I don't really have a solution yet. So I like my setup, setting up a lot closer, swinging my shoulders in, and I'm aiming down the ledge. I feel like it's getting a little difficult because this is really low, and I feel like I'm over popping. I'm gonna go back to this ledge. I'm gonna do the end, do the middle, try to do the beginning, get really comfortable. And if I can get comfortable, maybe I'll try something else. But for now, I'm gonna try to get each part of the ledge until we get the whole thing. So I'm learning the sweet spot is in the angle you take approaching the ledge. I haven't quite figured out what that angle is yet, but a couple of the tries, I could tell there's a right angle that just makes this trick work, and I'm looking for it. I think I might have found it. I think I might have lost it. All right, let's get one more solid one and then we'll move on. All right, let's go for the whole thing. I honestly think doing the whole thing might be easier. 1000% easier. Look who pulled up, you know him.
I cannot switch front tail on a ledge, but I can do it on a quarter pipe.
You need that.
But not that well. I can do the trick, I can't do the trick well. And maybe I can do it first try. That was like fake. I gotta drop back in and switch. not happening on a ledge though.
All right, so I think a good place to end this video is on the bump to ledge, because the last little piece of what I need to learn and figure out about this trick is how to control my board in the air. And adding a little bit of hang time, whatever you want to call it, to this trick is going to teach me how to keep the board on my feet for longer. I think that's going to be very important to controlling. I'm going to do this on the bump to ledge and end my video there. I just never learned how to switch 180. That's my problem. I learned how to switch frontside flip, but I like switch front 180. I just never did. So it feels pretty good to pop off of a bump, but I definitely feel very not stable with my board under my feet. I don't know how to keep this underneath me. Maybe I got to ollie lower. I don't know. There we go. I just got to slow everything down in my head, which is pretty hard when you're nervous. And I'm definitely a little nervous trying to pop switch off this, but just got to calm down, slow it all down. That's it. That was pretty chill. It was a lot more of a battle of my shoulders and my head movement than it was the trick itself. Once I kind of figured out how to position my body over it by moving my shoulders a certain way, it got a lot easier. The bump definitely helped. I'm gonna say going off of a bump with this trick is a lot easier than doing it on a flat ledge, but doing the entire flat ledge was the easiest out of everything. Something about being able to go over the corner a little bit and kind of have a different approach to it made the angle so much easier. To all you guys who have been watching these videos, thank you. I see all your comments and you guys have been getting me so stoked to keep making videos. I appreciate every single view, every comment, every like, sub, all that. If you guys enjoyed this, you know the deal. Leave a like, hit me in the comments, let me know what you think. And as always, until next time, peace.